So, we're back. We're back. We're live. The Truman Show with Mr. Eli
Hey,
Dohadwala, back from Toronto, the Toronto area, just close to me. He's not very far, and it's like the good old times. Eli is back on the Truman Show. How are you, my brother?
I'm back. I'm back. It's good to be here, brother. Good to be here. Honored to be here.
We
And
have a lot
good
to,
to see your face.
yeah, we have a lot to talk about. It's been a while, so it's gonna be a very, very interesting hangout. We decided to name that one. Like you said, truth and discernment, because there is a lot to discern and there is a lot of truth, but there is also a lot of confusion and illusion and all kinds of stuff. And people are creating confusion. Also, I find that's been, it's like everything. It's like the system we live in. It's man-made. It's organized. So they organize their stuff. So tonight Ali, in accordance with me, of course, we discussed during the week, and we came out to some subject that we want to touch tonight. So, yeah, so facts. The first thing we're gonna touch is probably the facts and why we know the Earth is flat and what are the globies' main arguments and how to debunk them in less than 5 minutes. That's gonna be the first thing we're gonna talk about. After that, we're gonna go through the gatekeepers and dividers because there is a lot. Their impact on the movement. I don't like to call it a movement. It's more an awakening, but we're going to use the word movement. We're not going to be technical. And how to detect and define them. That's very important because they are sometimes hiding in plain sight, but we don't, not everybody sees them. So we're going to give our point of view on that. So angry subs, reason for their anger and their responsibility to be wiser, and not to forget too also that people can buy subscriber, like I told you. So I want to talk about that too. The plan and strategy, okay, how to organize local chapters with worldwide unity, how to fund local organizations, how many recruits do we need to reach critical mass and make a united, flatter day possible worldwide, you know? And patience and unity, how to sort out disagreement in the movement between each other, what are our values and common goals, what is reasonable time frame to achieve those, and the same common goals, because that's what's important. If we want to ever achieve something together, it's got to be a common goal. So very, very important to work towards the same thing. So facts. So my brother Ali, why do we know the earth is flat, and what are the main arguments that you would bring to someone that wants to me, there's no debate. To me, there's no debate for flat earth because, first of all, there's no, okay, people are going to say you don't have a picture of your flat earth or you don't have a picture of this, but nobody knows. My main argument is nobody knows. It's for sure it's not a globe, because the water, all do you want the water to hold on the air? It's just logic. Even you present it to children, like me, Ali, you're going to present it to any children, and they're going to get out and look at the sun, and they're going to say, yes, the sun goes around us, not us around the sun. So it's very basic, I believe, the stuff. Like, it's just you have to start questioning yourself. So go ahead, my brother, and
Yep,
share with me your opinion on that.
I totally agree. For me, how do I personally know through my journey investigation that the Earth is flat and non-rotating? Well, first, why is it flat and not curved? Well, from my research, I figured out that I can't trust anybody. So I can't trust your word, NASA's word, Dubai's word, anybody. I can't trust anybody because anyone could be lying. And so how do I know from myself without anyone's information? I go out to the ocean and I look up and there's no curvature, right? There's no curvature. And so
And often
I
the
go
ocean has,
places.
Ali, Ali, excuse me, but the ocean, that's what I was looking at before. And often they're going to say, okay, the vision of the human cannot see further than 3 miles looking straight. Okay, okay, but I can see much wider than 3 miles, and there's no curve
There
either.
we go. That's
So,
that's the best argument.
just that.
Because they say that the human eye can't see that far, and then they present us with NASA pictures, which we've
Yeah.
proven are fraudulent. I mean, if you just take the picture from the NASA website, put it in Photoshop, do a few tricks, and you'll be able to see that there's copy paste. Those are edited pictures. That's not an authentic picture. And so we've already proved beyond a reasonable doubt, at least for myself, I've proved by taking NASA pictures that their pictures are fraudulent. They're photoshopped. And so
And they
we've
admitted
got
themselves.
them.
They admitted themselves.
And yeah, they do admit it themselves, but they never admit that the moon landing picture is a hoax. They won't admit that one. And so I can't trust them. Me personally, I can't trust them. They've been lying for so long that I can't trust them. So that's not even on the table for me. Like, oh well, NASA's showing us these pictures. So how do I know the Earth is flat? I've been on an airplane many times, and so I know what it looks like out there. But I also know that if you take a camera, like, look, I have a bunch of cameras here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, these are all cameras. Okay, that was part of my job, using the camera to take videos, edit them. So I know how a camera works. And if you tilt the camera, right, from up above, it's not going to look like the horizon is at eye level, because you're not looking straight horizontally. And so they can manipulate pictures. So when people go on an airplane and they show me pictures and they say, well, the horizon is not at eye level, or look at the curvature, it depends on what camera they're using. So I can only go by what I have found out myself, and I have found out the Earth is flat. I've zoomed in, right, and I've seen ships reappear. So the story is, according to...
But as far as the eyes can see, and any camera and telescope you can use can see, it's flat. It's flat. There's no curve.
There is no
Unless
curvature.
it's a super immense, huge freaking structure but the water has to hold at that point, has to stop at that point, because water remains flat. The water is flat everywhere. Like, but there is some other people that say that water curves inside the YouTube people. There are some that say it's convex, which is a ball. Some say that it's concave, which is the other way. Some say it's flat. But the thing is, nobody knows. But to me, the Earth is flat. It's a flat plane extended to infinite. My imagination is infinite. Your potential is infinite. Why would we live in an enclosed world? That's the other thing I don't like about Mark Sargent also is enclosed world thing. Yeah, I think it's the next thing we had in facts, gatekeepers and dividers. Gatekeepers and dividers. How to recognize them. There's something I don't find really normal in that YouTube thing. Is that yeah, there's gatekeepers and dividers for sure. You can agree with me on that. They're there, but you have to have a certain amount of experience inside the YouTube scene to recognize those things. Like at the beginning of my journey on YouTube, I was all excited when Mark Sargent came and commented on my video. I was like, oh, Mark Sargent. Like I had that effect. Like the first video I put out, I was like, hey, Mark Sargent's noticing me. And I was looking at that guy, his clues and all that, until really I sort everything out and I realized that they are gatekeepers more than anything else. And to make people believe that you live in an enclosed world and inside a dome, a structure, or it's like living on a globe. It's the same thing. It's the globe closed world. They tell you that this is what it is and that there's nothing else, and they even have the nerve to put the piece of land on the globe to tell you, hey, on top of that, only we put you on an enclosed world, but we're telling you what the land mass are. We're going to tell you everything. You don't have to sort out and find out anything. We're going to do all that for you. So these people there are there to enforce this idea of not expanding your consciousness, first of all, because this is what the awakening is about. It's about expanding our consciousness. And to me, these people are deliberately keeping people in low consciousness, low vibration, without never trying to enlighten anybody to other truth than the flat earth, because the flat earth is one thing, but there's a lot of other stuff. And it's okay if you talk about flat earth, you're a very conscious human being and all that, but if you go fill your body of scrap and you talk shit and you talk trash about people and all kinds of stuff, it doesn't make you pure in any way or whatever. Like, only love can keep us pure. So that's what you have to project and be love. So it's not by fooling people and bringing people into a maze of distraction, endless distraction, that you're going to enlighten people. And that's probably why they don't bother with. That's probably, I know why they don't bother with me. That's why, because I have a big mouth, I yap, and they know they bring me on their show, I'm going to start freaking yapping my mouth. They know that at one point they're going to provoke me or with something, and I'm just not going to hold back like I'm doing now. I'm just going to speak out because I'm fed up of things that have been put up on me and tell me, oh, you have to live this way, you have to believe this, believe that. Like, why are they enforcing their flat earth map so much too? That's another psyop. You know, I believe the earth is flat. I know the earth is not, I don't believe, I know. I don't want to believe anymore. I want to know. I know the earth is flat for a fact because I did stuff to realize it was flat. I had a big telescope. I had all kinds of stuff to look at the horizon, cameras like you. First of all, I use my eyes every day, and as far as I can go up, wherever in a plane or something, it's always at eye level. So to me, if I live on the ball, at one point I should look down at the horizon. No, 25,000 miles in circumference is not that big, Ali. You agree with me? It's a small ball. 25,000 miles, it's nothing. Only this number also is so ridiculously small. You know, it's so ridiculously small, 25,000 miles, but the sun is 93 million fucking miles away. Like, how fucking stupid do you think I am here? Like, bro, gatekeepers and stuff. What do we do with that? You know, there's something going on in me. You know what? Another thing, Ali, is we have to keep the small channels like me, like other people. They have small channels and they are genuine because I don't buy subscribers. You know, you have the possibility to buy subscribers, and that I don't intend to do that. I want to remain genuine and really be for the truth, and like, I'm not for fame. I don't want to be famous because once you become famous, you become a slave anyway. So I don't want to have to protect an image. I can give a fucking shit about an image to protect. I can care less. I don't care. I'm speaking my mind, but I know there is something wrong in the world, and it seems like I don't know, we're being put under brainwash very, very young, and we realize that. I don't know. To me, it seems also that there's got to be something happening to you for you to wake up. Like you told me this week, there's been a tragedy in your same like me. Why do we have to wait that something happened to us to freaking wake up? Don't wait that. Don't wait that happen to you to wake up. Like,
yo, wake up, rise up. You know, it's about time. But
gatekeepers, give me your version on gatekeepers and dividers and.
Okay, firstly, right, a shill, because you know, we both got into the awakening at an earlier stage. Most people got awake since December 2014 for flat Earth, and so I think I linked up with you maybe in June. So we've been observing the quote unquote movement for good almost more than a year now, right?
More than a year for me.
Almost a year, more than a year. So we know this word shill has been being passed around by everybody. Everyone's calling everyone a shill. So what is a shill? By the definition, a shill is an accomplice of a swindler, gambler, or a hawker. I have it written back there because I'm not gonna memorize this stuff. But that's the definition. So that means that someone is implicit in a conspiracy. And so to prove that, we would need a money trail, or we need some type of evidence that shows these two people or organizations are connected. We don't have that. We don't have the hard evidence to prove anyone's a shill. Well, I suspect a lot of people are shills, but I don't have the hard evidence, right? So in my court of law,
You know the word shill. You know what the word shill makes me think of when I think of shill on YouTube or something like that. I think of shell, shill, shell. You know they're
yeah,
there with the shell to protect the thing that they have a shell over them,
yeah,
which I'm not the shell.
it's a fake persona. They're pretending to be someone they're not. That's what a shill comes down to. But to
Yeah.
prove that, so I choose the word gatekeeper, because gatekeeper, everyone can agree that if we're spreading the flat earth message, we're gatekeepers. That means we're inviting people to see what we have to show them. And so your channel is a gatekeeping channel, and everyone is, whoever is an activist. And so what's a gatekeeper? A gatekeeper is someone who presents a new person an image. Because the first thing when you enter someone's house, the person who opens greets you, you're gonna form an opinion about everything else based on that person, at least initially. And if you see that person is, for example, a drunk, or you don't see something you like, you'll run away. You won't even enter the gate. And so that's why it's a responsibility for anyone promoting flat earth to know that there's people who already are taught that this is ridiculous, this notion that the earth is flat. So anything you do, like for example, I'll talk straight, Orphan Red, she acts like a retard, okay? Like, and so if someone is coming and stumble upon your channel, because they all put flat earth in their search descriptions, so they're flooding the stream. And so she's not stupid. She acts like that. She's not. I've seen her videos. She's very intelligent. She's not a stupid person. But why would you act like a child? Like giggling, and there's something up. That's an act. You can clearly tell that's an act.
You
And
know,
so why would you do that?
you come on YouTube. You come on YouTube to talk about truth. You know, you better have some integrity. You better, that's one thing I will never break is my integrity. Like I don't want to be famous, but I have integrity, and I don't intend to break it for just little famous stuff, or divert people's attention from the real truth. From the real truth become thing. But it's all part of their organized scheme to keep people like that. I'm
Yeah, and
convinced of
brother,
that
look,
more and more
we all
because
make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We all have a few days, but these people know that we've criticized them, and they've not once come out and say, "Hey, you know what? You guys might have a point." No, it's like, well, you're being negative. You're calling me a shill. Well, you're a shill.
yeah.
There's no dialogue going on. I've been observing what's going on,
Anybody
and so
anybody that will go against them, they will also be called troll or shill or stuff like
yeah,
that. So
and
so they probably call me a troll because I'm always, but not always. I don't bash people. Like I still.
yeah,
Uh,
I'm not about that either.
uh,
Maybe sometimes I lose my cool and I say a few things,
all I'm
but
saying is,
if you look at my track record, it's on Facebook. My profile is public. I have my moments, but these people, it's a consistency about them. It's a pattern,
I have
right?
my moment.
And it's a pattern that anyone with I'm not here to try to tell anyone to believe what I believe. I'm saying I'm making a claim, right? I suspect this is what's going on. I'm making a claim. I'll back it up with evidence. You can go to IFERS, the forum. They have all the evidence there. There's a lot of people who contributed, and just look at the evidence. And then people are not stupid. Anyone who's woke up to flat earth, and in general, people know that
They're
you
not
just have to
stupid,
study a
man.
little
Come
bit to
on.
know that people can act. I mean, look at what
For,
is reality TV. Reality TV is an act. If you really want to know what someone is doing, put a covert camera in the house or something that they don't know about, and then you'll see reality. But the second someone knows a camera is on, it's an act. I'm trying to be as genuine as possible, but I'm acting too. I came, I took a shower, I wore a nice shirt because I know people, the first thing they're gonna do is judge how you look. That's how we've been conditioned. And you know,
Yeah.
if you were gonna ask me what credibility do I have to spot these behavioral patterns, I can show you stuff, evidence. I can show you things like this.
Yeah, I
This is
want
a
to see that.
GPS tracker. This is a tracker right here, right? I like to make these claims. And so that's what people look at. But I didn't come here to talk about all that. But unfortunately, that's why people who are not in the flat earth movement, the globies, a lot of them will say, well, I've personally spoken to airline pilots and they tell me that, you know, there's curvature, but you got to get high enough. So people will trust people with qualifications. They won't trust me. And so
But that's
that's
it.
one of the,
We've been programmed to trust authority and not to question authority and also defend it. So that's where we are as a collective consciousness. Is now anybody that goes against authority, we're crucifying them or what freaking doing to them to make them look retard. But it's freaking wrong. There's something, but I think it's an awakening. It's getting there. We're on the right track. More and more of us are speaking out, and I think it's very positive. It's a very positive way. I think we should all embrace that awakening to a very, very high level of appreciation, because that's what we should be appreciative, first of all, of the life we've been given to just be able to speak like that. I give thanks for that. But you know, we've been programmed so deep that we don't even pay attention to the little things anymore. We're not appreciative of the little things, and we don't notice nothing, and we're just taking everybody's reality that they give us, like many people try to and bring to the forefront their ideas and make people believe it and stuff. And it's like,
yeah,
okay, can
I'm
I
sorry.
believe? Can I, you know?
I just made a mistake too. When I showed that device, I said GPS. Like there's no satellites. But
No,
they,
that's satellites. Satellites. That's another thing. I have a telescope. I've tried. I see any satellite. Like, why, if I can see the stars with my scope, why can I catch a satellite somewhere? It can't be that far. They can't be
yeah,
that
exactly.
far. They have to send signal to Earth, apparently.
Yeah,
So the other day, I received a pamphlet in the mail, and it's written on that they're sending their signal by satellite and all. And I was gonna call the company. I kept the pamphlet. I'm gonna call them and I'm gonna say, okay, I'm willing to take your high-speed internet, but you're saying on the paper that it's via satellite, and I'm very, very curious. I really wonder which satellite are you using, because I don't see none in the sky. There's no satellite out there. But you know what? What me? It's the you know what? Is the why is that's it, the gatekeepers and dividers are also the people at the top in the government and those agencies. It's not only on YouTube. We find gatekeepers that they're in real life also in the government and space agencies and places like that. So it's very important to call them out also, not only people on YouTube. Like we can talk trash Patricia or Mark Sargent or Orphan Red or this or that, but still they still come out and talk about the part of the truth which the government doesn't do at all. So that's why I don't want to bash too much or judge, because first of all, judge not before you judge yourself. Who am I
well,
to judge
that's fair.
anyone? Like,
That's fair.
they're all on their journey, and I
Yeah.
don't know, probably they're CIA agent or
It's a
something.
game.
Who
It's a
knows?
game. See, I've been on the other
Game,
side,
but it's all,
right?
like you said this week, a game, man. And they know how to explain me your version of that game, because we've been talking home for like 2-3 hours this week together, and yeah, we elaborate on a lot of stuff. Maybe that we can.
I'll give you an example. So my job was to go undercover to infiltrate organizations. So I've done this. And when you're not, I wasn't, you know, there's some people, even if I had evidence on them, I'll let them go because I cared about them, right? But I had that power, and that power is alluring. I chased that power, right? I did that. It wasn't even the money. They give you they pay you good, but it's, you know what, you, for example, I'd go undercover in an organization that wants to investigate their own employees. So I get a regular job, you know, as a janitor or whatever. And so I'm there for 4 months, depending on how I gather the evidence. And so we're playing poker with these guys, you know, getting to know this, that, made good friends. And once I'm gone, once, you know, I'm suddenly taken out, and I file my report, and that's it. And so it's, I have to act, man. I have to act. I have to be at parties, and I have to, you know, meet people's wives and all these type of things. I have to do that, and I'm, you know what, it comes natural. At a certain point, when that's what you want to do, it comes natural, and no one can tell the difference. Like, unless someone followed me from my home, like from work to my home, recorded my conversations, checked, you know, the emails I'm sending, they wouldn't know who I'm affiliated with. There's no way to know. And so this is what it is. And this is on a small level. This is not
So
even working for CIA. You know, this is working for private organizations, no government affiliations. And so these type of things happen, but there's no way you can prove it. And so what I look for is patterns. What are they trying to accomplish? And it's obvious to me they're not here to have dialogue.
No, that's it.
There's
That's
a lot
my
of people.
point. They don't care about you if you think they care.
Man.
I don't think they care. That's the thing.
They don't, you know. Because my only criticism is that there's too much speculation, and it's just, you're taking up the airways. If you go on YouTube, I type in flat earth, they pop up. And the good news is they're not winning. They're not getting any views. If you look at who's getting the views, I'm happy, because maybe 6 months ago I was really distressed. I was like, what's going on? You know, the good side is not winning. And I've taken my side. I'm with people who, and a lot have come out too. I suspect everyone, by the way. Even today, I suspect everyone. I keep my mind open to new information. It's not, I'm not saying that I have proof against any of these people. Everyone is suspect. I only trust myself. That's where I go.
If we've been fooled by the globe all our life and everything, it's a bit normal that now we're taking precaution before we believe anything, or we go with anything. Like me, I question everything, my friend.
But I don't let it stress me out. This doesn't stress me out. You see, a lot of people are taking this personally, and I understand that, because when you first awaken, at least when I awakened, it was emotional, man. I was, you know, it was like the biggest thing that happened to me. I can't explain it in words. You know, it's like, you know, it was really beautiful. That's the only way I can say it. And so you don't want anyone messing with this, man.
And that's the feeling we have to keep. I keep saying it all the time. A lot of people, when they see what's going on YouTube, or, you know, at some point when you know the earth is flat and you look around you and you don't see too many people thinking like you, well, you're tempted to go back on YouTube and look at a bit of stuff, flat earth, because I do it myself. So I'm not going to lie here. I don't do that every night on YouTube, every night now, checking flat earth. But once in a while, I go and I check just to I don't know why I do it. I don't know why, but I'm not the only one doing that, because I don't know, we feel like we need to be pampered or something, but way more and more from that pamperedness and stuff to be more independent and more thinking for myself more and more, and like I in moment of my life. But now it's up to me to keep going on the journey and find my truth, and the truth is about who I am. So I don't need no books, nobody to tell me who I am. I have to discover it after a journey that I'm gonna take on my own. But if I don't open up my heart and talk to people, well, nothing will ever happen. So that's why I'm here out on YouTube. But yeah, the flat earth for sure. That feeling I had the first day, my friend, when I awoke. I think you're the one of the first. Is that no? It's a guy in Quebec, Jonathan Lévy, that I called first, and he was a friend on Facebook, and we were exchanging about all kinds of conspiracy. Like, we were big, both of us, in conspiracy. We were talking about David Icke and stuff like that, and suddenly one day I'm doing research like every day because I was researching like 10 hours a day on all kinds of stuff, reading books and all kinds of every every knowledge I could put my hand on, I was there. And when I found out about the flat earth, I think it's a video from Eric Dubé that came on YouTube suggested, and I see flat earth. I'm like, what the heck is that? And I click on it, go check that, and for me it was
Dang.
instantaneous because I was looking for it. I was looking for it. I was, but that is only gonna happen, I believe, unless someone tells you the Earth is flat, like me. Unless you meet someone like me or you and are very outspoken and willing to empty their bag to anybody they meet, you will probably never know unless you go start to do research yourself on a lot of stuff like on the banking system and stuff like that. So it starts from the bottom and then you just grow and you go into 9/11 and stuff like that and you research other stuff and you eventually you're gonna come to the flat earth for sure. It's inevitably I think that's probably why I came to that at the end. It didn't pop. You know, the synchronicity also and all that is I had to do research on other stuff before I came with the flat earth. I found that out at the end. Like I was chasing my dream. Like I was chasing my dreams. Ali, you know me like, from a long time. You saw me on my Motivation Academy channel and all that. So I was busy chasing my dream, and I just stumbled upon the truth, and I stumbled upon something, and I hit my head on the truth, and I had no choice to speak out. Like you have a responsibility. Also, I have a responsibility to not take it lightly. That awakening, like it's not something I take light. That's why I'm here. Like I try to do. I don't want to overpack YouTube with Hangout and stuff like that, and be a pain in the ears with my show. But I have a big mouth. I have a lot to say. I have a lot more to say. This is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. I'm starting to get better and better and perfecting my craft more and more. But I'm not a professional in that. I've never done shows like that in my life. No? So I'm learning, but that's the journey I encourage everybody to take for sure because there is truth out there and open your mind and open your heart. But the most of it is open your heart and put away the false pride because and put away the
Yeah,
ego
yeah, yeah.
because if you stay in your ego and you're not willing to know that because it's gonna hurt the truth, it's gonna hurt. The truth hurts for sure. It hurts the first time I like it hurt me because I noticed that I've been brainwashed all my life. I'm like I was a bit mad at myself for not waking up, for not questioning the reality before. That's what I was mad at myself for. I'm like, but I mean, it happens at the moment it happened in my life, probably for a reason. There's a lot of synchronicity happening in my life, all this stuff. But yeah, so gatekeepers and
Yep.
dividers, they're very easily spottable. First of all, if you keep people in no consciousness all the time and no I don't know. Me, I can spot them very easily. There's also other people on YouTube that are very, very nice and very. There's a lot of intelligent people. Like if you awoke to that flat Earth stuff, Eddie, you can agree with me. It's because you've done some research. You're not a stupid person. You've been. First of all, you were fed up of things insulting your soul at one point, and you decided to start and questioning the world you live in and like we all have stuff in our face also all along our life to try to wake us up to the a lot of stuff like just me like I say all the time. Bob Marley is a great example. He spoke a lot of truth, but I never really understood fully the message until first of all that I learn to speak English because when I was only French, it was very hard for me to understand what he was saying. So when I started to speak English, whoa, things have changed and things are evolving fast for sure. But it's a must. It's like encourage everybody to speak. If you're in Quebec like me, you have to speak English. It's a must. Hello, wake up. If you're not, wake up. But yeah, no, my brother, gatekeepers, for sure, they are all over. The biggest gatekeepers are the NASA and those controllers of reality. But I think the discovery begins within. The discovery of the flat Earth, it begins within empirically. It begins within, and that's where you have to start. But maybe you want to add something on this, Eddie? I've been
Yep.
speaking for the last 10 minutes. Go ahead. I just go like that. You know me, especially with you. I'm very inspired when I get in touch back. Like we're just met tonight, but that's what I was telling him today. I said, "Hey, we're gonna be me and Eddie tonight." I said, "We're just missing you," but he's gonna come on eventually. Or we're gonna see him back on the Truman Show
Well,
eventually,
yep.
just to let
Yeah,
people know.
that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome because his videos are really, really amazing, man. Like, he makes
Thanks,
you
just
think.
because we have grew a lot. Me, you, and Ivar, both of us, the three of us that started that show together, we have grown a lot since the starting of this whole thing. So Ivar has evolved a lot. You too, me too, and we all took at one point different path, but we all look, we all meant to be together because we're again tonight together, and we never left each other anyway. We're always connected. Angry subs, reasons for their anger and their responsibility to be wiser. Yeah, for sure. People
Okay,
agree for
so
sure because.
you want me to go first?
Go ahead. No, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I spoke
Okay.
enough. My mouth is all dry. I think I'll drink it this
Okay.
time.
This is my take. This is my take. So, of course, I every now and then I see what's on the market about flat Earth. So, and I go from people who have a lot of subscribers, big channels, to the small ones, and even individuals just making comments. And so I see a lot of people who are really upset about the whole uh, what do you call it? The whole meetup that happened in Houston
Yeah.
and Seattle.
There. But just the name, Eddie Mixer. What to mix up people? Mixer. I found out
Yeah,
very weird.
mixer.
Mixer.
Okay, mixer. That's an interesting word,
I'm
but
not. I'm not English. Maybe it's a proper word, but to me, not the word I would have used. I would have used together as one, flat or together as one,
well,
or
anyway,
something.
so
But
that meetup, people were
even
upset
that,
because
even that.
it was being made a mockery, right? With the bedroom or the hotel room scene, all that. We know what this is about, and so it
Yeah.
sparked like an outrage, right, in a lot of people who are emotionally invested in the flat Earth. See, I'm not emotionally invested. Well, I care about flat Earth, but whether the movement gets together, doesn't get together, I gotta live my life, man. You know, I'm not if if someone doesn't organize themselves, I can't be mad. Like that's my approach. But I do understand people who look up because I'm not a fan of anybody, right? I respect people, but I'm not a fan. I'm not like that. I'm just that's not my makeup. But there's some people because we live in a society where people are
I
conditioned to
said
look up
some
to role models.
needs. I don't know. Maybe there's leaders and followers in this world. Maybe there is.
Yeah,
I don't know,
there
but I'm
should be
not.
leaders. There should be leaders. But if you're a blind follower, and that's what I look at, a lot of people blindly trust these people like they owe them something. These people don't owe you anything. You logged into their channel. Don't go there. Turn it off.
Yeah.
And so that's my thing. If you don't like someone, yeah, you could put a comment, you could contact them and say, well, I don't like you or I don't like what you're promoting. But to get angry and feel like someone took something from you, that's something that people got to wake up and say, hey, what is this flat Earth about? It's about me knowing the Earth is flat and me telling other people. Whether you got the knowledge from, for example, Eric Dubay or journalism or whoever, that's just one person, right? And it's good that they criticize them. I respect that, but I hope those people, and there's a lot of them, that they can understand that they got to be leaders. And I'm willing to work with anybody who's about something constructive, positive, and who's able to take criticism. And I don't see that with a lot of the gatekeepers. And all I see is, childish behavior. And
Yeah.
real, I can recognize real. It's a heartfelt thing. And when someone's suspect, man, you just know
Real.
that.
Real.
You know.
Real.
you know, I mean, you go to high school and everyone knows who the fake people are. This is, kids know this. Like, we can see through this acting. You know, that person who wants to be class president and always walks around like, that's what I'm seeing here. Everyone is politicking, but they're not keeping it real. And so there's always going to be people in our society who follow people around like puppy dogs, but I'm not one of those. And I know, thankfully, there's a lot of people who are not like that. And that's why when you look at the statistics, who's getting the most views? People who are presenting the facts and really, you know, spending hours and hours trying to say, how am I going to make the best product for this video to go viral? And what's, you know, what am I trying to gain? I'm trying to awaken people to knowing the earth is flat. And so there's no speculation. Like, there's a lot of people making good videos, and I respect that. You know, I really do. I really shout out to all those people out there. You know, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and there's people putting out a lot of good stuff.
And the reason I don't mind tackling the shill issue is because that used to be my profession. I'm interested in studying people's behaviors, looking at psychological profiles. And so I'm studying these people. And everyone out there, I'm watching how you're behaving. And I'm trying to see whether your words match up your actions. Because people are not paying attention. If it's very easy to fool people, let me just put it that way. As long as you can present yourself as self-righteous, you can wear nice clothes, you can pretend to be a successful, you can pretend to be a positive, people are attracted to those traits. It's a psychological trick. It doesn't matter what you're selling. You know, if someone comes to your door and is really polite and talks to you really nicely, is well-dressed, smells good, has a hair groomed nice, you know what, your mama will let them in. But if a hooligan, you know, a drunk comes to your house, you're going to shut the door. And so it's a game.
Like, yeah, and it's like the same thing, those people, that it's like the guy that presents the news on TV. It's always the because you feel comfortable with them. You don't think they're going to lie to you. So it's the same pattern.
What does CNN say? That was their slogan? The most trusted word in news, something like that. The most trusted news something. I forgot what their slogan is, but they're telling you that trust us.
Like that.
The most trusted source in news, or something like that. And they're preparing you to trust them because of, well, we're CNN. We have our agents everywhere. You have to trust us. Anytime anything notable happens, well, the CNN is there first across the world. And so it's just a show. It's an image, but we know they report. We know this now, that they report on false flags, on fake events, that they stage these events. And so,
you know, there's a guy on YouTube, and I recommend his channel because that's probably one of the only guy that I go back regularly and check because he exposed a lot of stuff is Russian vids.
Russian vids. Yeah, he's good.
He's good. He's putting a lot of good stuff together.
I don't know if he's into flat earth, though. I don't think is he into flat earth?
Yeah, he's into flat earth. Yeah. He's talking about
so that must be a Quicksilver. There's one of the guys who makes a lot of false flag videos, and he's still going after flat earth like we're crazy, and you know, but I'm sure he'll come around if he gives it time.
Russian vids. That's why I suggest him, because he's if you want to learn about all the false flag and all the hoaxes and all the, go check his channel, Russian vids. He very good. And me, I like that guy. I like the way he puts it out. He's very direct. He doesn't fool around, doesn't fuck around. He's very direct, and he says what he has to say. And I like that. He speaks his mind. And we need more people like that. You know, okay, people are going to say, oh, it's on YouTube, it's crap, or it's not true, or I hear that often, oh, it's on YouTube. So what? So if you get married and you put your wedding on YouTube, that means your wedding's not valid?
Well, CNN is on YouTube.
So
CNN is on
the
YouTube.
Same thing. So I think you can learn a lot from YouTube. Social media is just, if you don't learn every day on social media or Facebook or whatever, you're not following the right people. You're not following the right people. You should learn every day, either on YouTube or Facebook. Something new should come up, or you should try to search for something new. I don't know. So change is always good. I think being stuck in the same paradigm is no good for it. It's not very sane. Like if you don't pursue what your goals or you're committing spiritual suicide. So that's my opinion. But plan and strategy, okay, because it's very important to how to organize local chapters with worldwide unity, how to fund local organization, how many recruits do we need to reach critical mass and make a united, flat Earth Day possible worldwide? Like, how many people do we need to wake up to this whole thing before it starts exploding a bit all over in mainstream? And because at one point we have to understand that they cannot keep the truth away from the masses too like it's meant to come out. The truth cannot be kept, you know. There's a saying, it's what, only the sun, the moon, and the truth cannot be hidden, you know, something like that. So it can, there's a limit to what they can do to hide it. But first of all, they don't really hide it, because if they would hide it, they would have to hide the sun, hide every luminaries in the sky, hide everything that gives us indication that we're not moving. Or it's just because we don't question, we go to school accepting all the reality that's being put in our face, and we don't question it. And we question it, but we, because of the peer pressure, I think, when we're young, and the peer pressure of the other people in the class, we just don't come out and speak out in the class and say, hey, there's something wrong with what you're teaching. Me, that's what I encourage my children to do. At one point, is I said to my daughter, I said, when are you going to stand up in class and tell him that what he's teaching might be wrong? Consider questioning it, just questioning it. Like, what, it's a crime to question the reality these days? Like, what, it hurts that much, the truth hurts that much, you can't even question anything you've been taught? I think we should question everything we've been taught. But yeah, how to create a critical mass. I think it starts, for me, I say it all the time, it starts with the teacher, bro. It starts with the teacher. The teachers have to wake up. If and then not only the teachers, the whole plane has to wake up. But how many people do we need to reach critical mass, to really reach a point where we say, oh, it's enough, and now it might go viral? I think, I don't know if it will ever get to that point. Maybe it's gonna happen. I don't happen overnight. I think it's gonna take a couple of years to. Maybe we will see it from our living days. I hope so. I hope we will see a critical mass change. But even that, how do you organize the whole change and the whole transition from a non-intrusive, from a intrusive government to a non-intrusive government? What you just have, like, how would you manage society from one day to another? Let's say people wake up, and how do you're president of because no matter what, I think always be leaders among us, for sure. That's natural in life. It's like natural in any species on earth, lions or whatever, wolves, or there is leaders and there is followers in the pack. It's normal. But like you said, don't be a blind follower. Question the stuff you've been taught.
Okay, I'll ask you a question, right? So
okay, go ahead.
Just for a second, imagine.
I speak a lot tonight.
That's good. That's good. So just imagine there's no police, okay, and someone robs your house. What would you do? Just imagine there's no one to go to. It's you, your family, your friends. Someone robs your house. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna defend myself.
Okay, this is after the fact. So you weren't at home. They came, took something, and you had a camera in your house, for example, and you recorded them taking something, and they live, maybe 20 blocks away, but everyone knows them in the community. You see, the thing is, people don't know each other. We don't know our neighbors. We don't know it. We have no community anymore. But
no, exact. There's no unity. We don't even know our neighbors. Our neighbors don't even say hi. We don't even say hi to the neighbors. It's crazy.
Yeah, we've been conditioned this way. The average person moves every 5 years. This is by design. They do this. But for example, say you're living in any community. Well, I'll tell you what I would do. Well, I would get a band of my friends together, because supposedly this guy is armed, right? Well, you want to take precaution anyways, right? That's a smart thing to do. So we take a bunch of our friends together, knock on his door, call his parents out, call his neighbors out, and say, hey, look, this is the evidence. This is what this guy did. And if he refuses to cooperate, guess what? The society gets together and says, well, if people are really angry at him and they all decide, let's hang him, that's what happens. This is common sense. The law, in fact, stops criminals from being prosecuted, because all someone has to do is go and say, hey, arrest him, they get their bail, depending on how much money they have, and they get a good lawyer, and a lawyer can play with words, and everyone knows this guy did it, but guess what? They can contest the evidence, say this evidence was contaminated, or it was, this evidence is not valid anymore. There's so many ways lawyers can trick, and this is the system we live in, where the top criminals, they know the system, and they own the Justice Department anyways. So even if you get in a lower court, you get a prosecutor to try the case, and you get a judge to accept the case. Once it goes to Supreme Court, they're already bought out. Who appoints the Supreme Court judges? The president, who's a Freemason. If you look at any of these presidents, they're all from the same bloodlines, and they elect the Supreme Court judges. So the system is rigged no matter how you see it. But if we're not part of this system, and we say we reclaim our birthright, because our birthright has been stolen since birth, and once we figure this out legally, we're actually committing a crime, because you don't represent your birthright. Every time you present an ID, and every time you need a license for something, you're committing a crime, because you're presenting yourself as something you're not. You're not that person. They tricked you into accepting that. And so this goes deep. I'm studying this actually right now, where this is the biggest conspiracy, I feel, bigger than flat earth. But flat earth, you need to know the difference between knowing, and you need to, once you wake up to flat earth, you'll question everything to the point where you'll understand this conspiracy. And this is the one that,
yeah, because
it's coming. There's a bigger conspiracy. I'm sure of it. I can't explain it. There's a guy who's putting out videos. There's almost.
There's bigger than that, I'm sure.
It's coming out. People are going to figure this out, and that's my solution, or our solution. That once we wake up and realize that we don't need to be under these laws, right? And we just start doing our own thing. And guess what? Your family, your friends will notice. Hey, where did this guy disappear? How come he doesn't? He's not brainwashed into this time clock, this calendar. He doesn't celebrate birthdays. What's up with him? But next thing you know, he's living real good. He's making growing his own food. He's doing these type of things. It's going to attract people, and eventually, it has to start with the self. There's no one gonna. People can lead you towards the water, but you have to know how to fish, or they can show you how to fish.
I think that's what's beautiful.
You're gonna have to fish yourself. You're gonna have to change yourself. So it has to do with change, and most people are afraid of this change, because what if I told you, take your passports, take everything you have and burn it? It's not you. It's entrapping you. It's keeping you in the system. That's a false identity, and that you can reclaim your birthright, and these laws cannot apply to you at that point. And imagine if this was true, that you don't need any of these things to travel. You don't need any of those things, and so it's interesting once you figure that out. And I'm in the process of basically saying, hey, why am I required to have a license for anything? I'm born on this earth. I should have a right.
We're required a license for everything these days. You need a license to get married. You need a license to go fishing. You need a license to go fishing.
Does a monkey need a license? Does a monkey need a license? No, they don't need a license. An animal doesn't need a license. Why do we need license? Who's licensing us? Who's giving us this?
That's what they force you to get, a permit or a license.
But they can only force you if you believe you need that. If you don't need that, and you declare that doesn't apply to you. For example, if a police officer pulls you over and asks you for identification, what if you don't have identification? What can they do to you? They can lock you up, take you to court, and then when you go to court, they'll say, please present your identification, or what is your name? And that's when you have to get out of that trap, by knowing what to say.
Yeah.
You have to know the law. because once you hire an attorney, you're giving away your rights to someone else.
Hold on, I'm getting a book here. You have to know the law. Yeah, very important to know the law, and I have a book here.
Okay.
You know something is wrong when, and that's a book that Santos told me to get, and I bought, and it's very very interesting, and you know to understand who are the trustee, and the
Yep, yep.
maritime law,
That's
the air,
important.
because the trust includes, you know, the air jurisdiction, which is living and dead souls, spirit, angels, demons, ideas, and nature, are controlled by the Pope and his appointees. The sea jurisdiction, all vessels, mariners, sailors, merchant, creatures of the sea, international in nature, are controlled by British monarchs. The land jurisdiction. All resources of the land, including people, animals, plants, and minerals, are national in nature and are controlled by the Spanish king if they are. And the law form, very, very interesting. Each jurisdiction has its own law forms. The jurisdiction of the air has only three real laws: keep the peace, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So as long as it does not take away another's freedom, life, property, or do others such harm, or do what you like, and let others enjoy their free will too. But also the flag and the dates. You know
Okay,
that
okay.
the
I
flag
should check
is
that book
wrong.
out.
The flag is wrong. The stripes on it and everything is the war flag. You know when they have that flag with the horizontal line, like they show here, you can see it. Okay, so the one with the horizontal line is the law of the sea. U.S. citizen fly the war flag with horizontal stripes. But the national law and American fly the civil flag with vertical stripes. Even that, most American are flagging but even me, don't flag. I don't put out no flag. I'm not a nationalism. You know what is nationalism? That's what my daughter came up to supper table with that. She said, "Oh, my son said to tell me, oh, Daddy, I think I'm gonna go in the army when I get older." I said, "You can forget about that. I will never sign for you." Because anyway, he's not so yeah. And she was telling me that he wants to defend his country and all that. He's very proud to be Canadian. I'm like, okay, me, I'm very proud to be a citizen of Earth. Like I'm part of a whole. I'm not. Yeah, yeah. You know, I had to be born on the land, or I would have drowned. I would have drowned. So I'm born in Canada. That's okay. But I could have been born in Spain, in Japan, anywhere. I had to be born on the land. I'm born in Canada. What you want me to tell you? That's what happened. So yeah, but she says, yeah, I want to defend my country, and he said that, Gavin. So I said, first of all, do you know what nationalism means? Because you're talking about your nation, that you're proud of your nation and all that. Well, to me, nationalism is teaching you to take pride in shit you don't know nothing about and to hate people you never met. That's what
Yep,
nationalism
that's
is.
what it boils down to. It's propaganda.
It's
Um,
propaganda. So it's very,
there is no
but
nation.
even
It's a
the kids
fiction.
are,
It doesn't
that's it,
exist.
but they are programmed so young. We are programmed so young, and even sending my children. I don't like to say my kids. I think there's a bad connotation to that word. It refers to uh, uh, like an animal. Like I think it's the. I don't know. There's something with it. The appropriate word is children, I believe, for
Okay.
kids. I don't. I think it's more slang or something like that. Kids. I don't know. But I heard anyway. Oh, the whole vocabulary is a spell over us too. So I don't know what to say
Yes.
anymore. I watch my words. I mean, come on, the whole thing is a spell. That's why we spell the words, because it's a spell on us. It's the whole thing. But nationalism, like, come on, what is that to be so proud of the country where you come from? What, you don't give a shit about the rest of the earth? Like, only your little country matters, like everything matters. We're part of a whole. So to me, the Mexican border should be open for the Mexican to cross. You know, it shouldn't be there shouldn't be a wall for Mexican to cross over the border. We should be able to go freely anywhere we want. But we're restricted with passport, with this, with that, and it's all
Well,
it's all by design.
let me give you an idea here, right? The reason it's restricted is because we buy into the system. The reason you believe you need a passport to travel. That's what you believe. That's not reality. You can travel without a passport. The border is really wide. It's a long border. All you got to do is cross it. But the reason no one is going to do that is because they're afraid.
But because
That's what it comes down
I
to.
can cross the border. I can cross the border anywhere. There between Canada and US, there's so many spots, man, you can cross that you won't get caught. But if you go into US and I don't know, you get arrested for something or whatever, you're
That's the key.
entering
You don't want to
illegally
you
in
don't
their
want to do
country.
anything bad. You don't want to
Psycho.
do anything
Americans
bad.
are psycho, man. The authority in US are a bit. It's not like Canada, man. I don't know. I've been to US a couple times, and the state trooper and all that. They don't. They really they're brainwashed big time. To me,
I'll pose it this way: what if someone picked you up in Canada, right, and just picked you up? They suspected you did something, picked you up, took you to the station, searched you, said, "Hey, where's your identification?" What if you say, "I don't have any identification"?
I'm gonna have the same treatment as I have in
Right?
US. I agree with you. It's not because I'm in Canada that it's better. I agree with you.
Yeah. They'll hold you indefinitely, then they'll give you your day in court, and there's a way around it. And once you figure it out, I'm actually gonna do it myself, and then I'm gonna have authority. And so it's part of the awakening is to reclaim your birthright. Is to
But you
stop
know,
playing the game.
part of the problem is also here. Okay, that's a big problem because the government pays the military. The military protect commercial
That's
interests,
true.
and the commercial
That's
interest
what.
funds the government. So you
Yep.
see the problem. The triumvirate of government, military, commercial interest is a close and self-perpetuating system.
Hey, we're
Commercial
participating in the
interest.
system. Like that blood is on all our hands. Whether you buy a candy bar or you got $1 million or $1 billion, we're all complicit to the system by default because we are born into the system believing we are that person, the all capital letters. We're not that person. We consent to everything that we're given, but we stole it from someone. There's nothing that we have that we own. And
You know,
so it's
the people who consume the goods that the commercial interests produce and who also provide the labor necessary to harvest, clean, process, transport, and manufacture goods are not really part of the loop. We and the natural resources of our plane are the actual source of all the moolah the commercial interests have in which they use to pay the government and military. But our power to control or even have input into this system is extremely limited because they control every facet of it. So once every 2, 4, or 6 years, we get to choose a new government official who is supposed to champion our interests, which leaves us totally dependent on the good character and intelligence of the individual elected. Beyond that, we are free to grip, and those elected are free to ignore us. To gripe. And those elected are free to ignore us, which they do all the time.
yep. Hey, we consent to this, right?
A man
This is
A man is no less a slave because he is allowed to choose a new master once in a term of years. Hello, me, that's the you know the main. There's so much stuff that people should awake. Basic stuff like I'm not talking about flat Earth and stuff that's deeper, maybe research, but government and the banking system. Like you go into the bank and you don't question it. Like me, when I get into a bank, I'm sure you can have the same. I always feel bad going into a bank. Why do I have that feeling? Like I have that unnatural feeling coming up on me, same almost feeling as when a cop is following me. You know, it's not normal to be under any way. If they put the lights on, then now you get really intimidated because of the color, the red and the blue, and they mean something. That's what we were explaining, me and Santos. They mean
Yeah.
something. It's not red and blue just because it could be green and white. Why it's not green and white? You know, it would have been flashy too, yellow and another. No, blue and red. No, there's a reason for everything.
Yeah.
And the checkered board on their car too. Every police cars have the checker thing from the Masonic thing. So,
Yeah.
but
The symbols are everywhere. That's no secret. Uh,
and
they're
you know,
ruling us by our consent. We give them consent. The second you're born and you sign that paper, right? That this like if you're born in a hospital, the hospital record will the nurse or the assistant, whoever, will give you your parents a paper to sign. That's a certificate of live birth.
yeah,
Once you sign that, they send a copy to the government records, right? And they uh, the government records will send you this thing called your birth certificate. And ever since that's the time when you created a legal fiction. And so then you apply for your passport, your licenses, health card, and you've already entrapped yourself in the system, in this law. And so the only way out of it is to just completely denounce that identity and say this doesn't apply to me. And so every time after that, unless you've committed a wrong and you've violated a common law, these courts have no jurisdiction over you. The only time they do, the second you go to court and identify as that person, right? You're committing theft right away, and that's why they can hold you in their jurisdiction
yeah. And
by
we're
default.
maybe
So
we can finish with what I have here and extend on it. And it's very important to understand who you are, who they are, or what they are. You know, it's very important. So I'm gonna read it, and maybe we can extend on it a bit. American state citizen, the law jurisdiction, the law of the land. Okay, that's the little picture the guy has in his hand, and there's all kinds of stuff written. All living people. So the land jurisdiction, the law of the land. Okay, is all living people. All have natural and unalienable rights. All have beneficial interest in the land and its resources. All are guaranteed a limited republic style of government. All are protected by trust, indentures, international treaties, and commercial agreements. All have more civil authority on the land than the entire federal government. Have been at peace since 1865. Inhabit the land of their states. For example, Ohio State is in Ohioans, 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 yeah, that's it. Fly the civil flag of the United States of America Major, which is the one that's American state citizen. Now, United States citizen, which is very different. The sea jurisdiction, the law of the sea. So it includes Tories and internationalists can be living people born in federal enclaves or corporations, have only civil rights, which are privileged granted by Congress, accept any kind of government, including oligarchy and legislative democracy. Regard the Constitution for the United States of America as an equity contract only. No civil authority on the land. Have been at constant war since 1860. Merely reside on the land of the American state. Fly the stars and stripe war flag of the United States. And as 1868, another class of U.S. citizen was added, the United States citizen, U.S. corporate citizen debt slave. These citizens are debt slaves, have no rights, no legal standing, and are enslaved by perpetual debt.
There we go. That's what we are.
Basically what it is. That's what we're in. We're in every time you use that dollar, you're just compiling the debt and creating more debt. And so that's why, I saw something, Ali, that first of all, you can create your own money. That's what we should do, create our own money. And promissory note and stuff like that to be able to deal with those banksters.
That's the solution. That's the solution. Help each other, form our own community, and that's it. The only reason we're stuck is because, for example, did you know it's illegal, at least in my municipality, to grow food in your front yard? So
yeah, I know. I seen that. It's crazy.
What are we growing? We're growing grass. We're putting pesticides in the grass so it looks good, so the weeds don't come up. And what is it? There's so much land there. That should be gardens and stuff, right? And so
everybody should. That's crazy. People are not even allowed to grow food on their front lawn. It's crazy. It's crazy. And also in Mississauga, I think that's where you live, Mississauga. Yeah. That's where you are, eh?
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. There's been something about the schools that the parents didn't update the book, the mid-school book of their children and send them to school. And they found out they had no vaccination, and they ordered the parents to go get their kids vaccinated before they re-enter the school and have them stamp the little book with it. Like, it's crazy. There are several kids in your area at one point that were Kingston or Mississauga. I'm not sure which one. But
you know what's crazy though, brother? You know what I really think that's crazy? It's actually in these upscale neighborhoods. Well, all neighborhoods, but in these upscale neighborhoods where people, you would think they would be conscious, right? They have the time and the money to think.
Yeah.
They don't mind. They don't ban these vaccinations. They allow it to happen. They actually think it's good for their children. And the doctors don't know any better, because the doctors are taught that, well, a little bit of poison in there, it's gonna help the immune system fight it.
The doctors don't have more than 2 hours, I think, of course, in nutrition. It's crazy, man. It's fucked up, and they treat people with cancer and all kinds of stuff.
Poison when they're not sick. It's just backwards. And these vaccines make a lot of money. Each vaccine is, I know the flu vaccine is it's about $600 to administer. Just for one vaccine.
You know what I find crazy? You know what I find crazy? Also super freaking crazy is that people get vaccinated before they go on holiday. Like, why would I have to get a vaccine because I'm going to Jamaica for a week? What there is in Jamaica that I'm gonna calculate. Like, it's so stupid, but that's another way.
And you know what? You know who tells you to do this? Your own friends, because they're here. Oh, are you going to vacation? Or better get vaccinated. That's the first thing that pops in people's minds, because we've been conditioned.
But you remember when the flu, when that thing happened here in Canada, the big flu thing, they were giving shots to everybody.
Right. SARS.
Yeah, that's it. When it came out, do you remember? I'm sure in Toronto area there was all kinds of centers popping out to vaccinate people. Here, there was all kinds in Quebec, all over every cities almost. They had their little CLSC.
We have people wearing masks everywhere. Everyone's wearing a mask, walking around.
Yeah,
like paranoia.
what mass hysteria? Like, we're under mass hysteria. You know who had that album like that? Def Leppard, that Mass Hysteria or something, Hysteria. Or they had the song Hysteria. I think they were a bit seen clear and all that. Yeah, we're under. There's something going on this plane, but I think it's to make way for the positive day. We're seeing I feel more awake at every breath I take. It's not. That's why I'm not awake. It's an awakening. I'm constantly awakening. You're sure. I'm sure you can relate to that also because you've been into that
Hey,
truth
but brother,
research for as long as
I
me,
love
probably.
talking to people. Sorry to cut you off. I love talking to people, everyday people, and bring these topics up, and they'll just look at you like, and it's a good reminder for myself that hey, you know what? Uh, you gotta really figure out how to approach these people because the stuff we talk about is not regular to their life.
No, but
Like,
that's what Jimmy said
it's,
the other night. He said, I remember the first day I found out about that. I was so excited. I wanted to tell everybody in my family. I wanted to tell everybody, but I realized I should have shut my mouth.
it's how you approach them because the, now the thing is, you say a flat earth to even a lot of quote
I
unquote
don't know why it's so.
truthers, they'll unfriend you. They'll be like, "That's it, you're crazy," and
But okay, so we can talk about all kinds of stuff, 9/11, all kinds of things that
yeah,
fall around the world and all kinds of evil stuff. But whoa, flat
flat.
Earth.
And I
Whoa,
love that.
whoa,
I
whoa,
love that because
whoa, whoa, whoa,
it's like
whoa,
well,
whoa,
I have power now. I just suddenly have so much power. I say one word and people just run. Just think about it.
yeah,
All I say is flat earth. That's all I say.
yeah. And I don't know. For us, I don't know. But like I said the other day, Ali, I think more and more, many are called, but the chosen are few. I'm starting to see it
It's a
more and more
fact. Just
because
look around you, right? You know,
just
people
look
are
around you, you're
sleeping.
gonna realize.
People and even good people who are they're realizing something's not right. They just don't want to believe it could be such a big conspiracy. They're like, no, no way, no way. They just can't fathom. And I'm sitting here like, man, you
Okay,
know,
but
you figured out
why
you're on the
does
right track, but it is true. I mean, these bloodlines do exist. You can
But you
trace
know,
this.
today I was reflecting with Ivar on the phone, and I'm like, okay, if they do all this, it's certainly it's a godless system, so it's to hide God, it's to hide our true nature, or hide all kinds of stuff. But they're hiding God, but like, who is God? Who
That's a
is
good
God?
question. Who is
No, no,
God?
okay, I can
Who is
answer that.
God? Who is God?
Okay,
There's so many
no, no,
gods.
I want you to know where I come from with that, okay? Because I feel like I have the God consciousness for sure. Once a human awake is God. Man awaken is God. You know, man awaken is God. Once you
I'm on
awake,
the
you
same
are God
vibration
because you have
there.
the
I have
consciousness.
no nothing else to say. I believe. I don't
What
believe.
I
I know
mean is,
that's true. I know it's
if I
true.
look at my if I look at my computer, it's been built by someone. It's been created. If I look at the grass, I have very big problem understanding and make putting through my head that someone can create my laptop, my computer, and all that. Everything that's in my house, everything's been built in this way by us humans. And what were the grass and all the stuff outside just by pure consciousness appears? Like to me, there's has to be something so great that they hide
There's a
from
higher
us.
power. Something created us,
Okay, but
but that is
what?
creation
Okay,
itself. Because we, if
okay.
we're conceptualizing these things, we're conceptualizing God. We are God.
Me and you can think a lot on that, can reason a lot, but I cannot have created the earth. Like I cannot. Maybe I created with my. I don't want to fall into new age stuff and go lose my way in that. But I'm talking about very things I want to relate to, like who is God? Like I know there is a force behind. Like I'm very, very godly. I can very recognize the godly part in me. But I mean, what are they hiding? That part of the God thing, of the Creator, constantly come back in my mind more, say, especially since the flat Earth, but the God thing really come back often on my mind. Like, why doesn't he show up? Like, why doesn't he do so? I don't know. Maybe it's up to us. Like I say all the time, I'm just reasoning here with you, doing a live reasoning. about God, but I think it's all up to us. Maybe if everybody shine the God's consciousness, we're gonna change as a whole. But me, it's the evil. But it's not, people are not evil because people are born perfect and people are born. But we're put under mass hypnosis at birth, and we're being lied to on all kinds of levels. But I don't know. There's just something wrong with the world. And people, it's a very strange world because the people don't know. People don't know. People don't know that stuff. Majority of the stuff we talked about tonight, majority of the population don't have a clue about that, and they like I don't know why is
And to be
everybody in
honest, they're
trance.
not.
I've been in
They're in a
trance, man.
trance. They're happy. Most people are going along, and they're, well, for them they're happy. You know, they have stress, but they eventually get into
That's
happy
it.
days, and then the
The
stress.
illusion
It's
is
like a, it's like
comfortable
a,
also.
it's a cycle. You know, I wake up some days and say, well, you know, I'm not feeling happy today, or my mood is off, or this or that. But that's natural. It comes and goes with everyone. But for me to recognize that I'm conscious, I'm breathing, and for me to investigate my environment and reason and question, most people time because they're distracted. They have football, they're told go to church or go to the mosque, pray, and don't worry, you know what? We'll get you into heaven, just do this. Don't worry about it. And so most people like that. It's convenient, you know, because they have so much on their mind. They have
Yeah,
drop their kids
people.
kids to soccer. They got to go for a movie. They got to, and you know, they're in the illusion. And for a lot of people, because of how the chips fell for them, what families they were born in, they're doing really well and they're happy. And then there's the majority of the population that's like questioning what's going on here. Because
Yeah,
a lot of so-called Illuminati, the real quote unquote Illuminati are just a few families. We have to get this straight. There's few royal families who know this knowledge and they train their children at young ages and they pass this verbatim. This is never written down. This knowledge is only passed through the mouth and through initiation. And this is the Jews believe. This is, they call it the oral Torah. And
yeah, and
so
we're talking about deep
so
esoteric teaching, like secret
yeah.
of all ages. Many Pial has an interesting book, The Secret
Yeah.
Teaching
And
of
there's
All
many
Ages,
cults
and there's a
like
lot.
there's many cults that have these secret traditions. I'll give you an example. My family, we're born in one of these Islamic cults where the tradition goes back hundreds of years, but the leaders in their family, they've been passing on these secrets. And people, there's millions of people who pay them money, follow them everywhere they go, and they just believe. And I'm like, wait a second, I don't believe this. And so I'm an outcast now, right? It's just who I am. But that's the only reason I don't want.
You now, but I'm sure you're an outcast now. You say, but you probably never fit in, just like me. It's not something that.
I really didn't. That's true. You know, I always found out like everyone was just going into this trance. So they'll be singing songs just like in a church and going into a trance. Now I'll be looking at everyone. What the hell is going on here? Like, what drug did you guys take? Why am I not feeling this? And so then I convinced myself. I started reading the sacrifice of Jesus, and
That's
I used
it.
to
Oh
cry
yeah.
and ask for salvation. I tricked myself into becoming a good Christian. I used to go to church every Sunday because I was trying to get out of Islam, trying to find my truth. And then I found out, you know, I started reading the Bible, and the pastor didn't know anything about the Bible. I'm like, what's going on here? So I went to another church, and then I'm like, man, these people don't even know what they're doing. It's just a money racket because they ask you for money every time you go there. And I'm like, what's going on here? Why am I thought Jesus kicked the money people out of the synagogue. So how did they come back in? And then I couldn't ask these questions to the pastor because it was like everyone would be looking at me weird. And so I would have to go on after the church and ask the pastor, you know, pastor, what about this? What about that? And I would never get a straight answer. It'd be like, you know what, the Lord, the Holy Spirit may bless you. Like he was giving me a blessing more than he was answering my questions. Because at a certain point, he was just like, you know, don't worry, you know, may the Spirit bless
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That type of
All
stuff.
the preachers avoid this. Yeah.
Like there's something wrong with me now. It's like I'm like, and I used to think there's something wrong with me because I always had a question, man. And so I used to think I'm Satan because I'm like, why can't I just be a good little slave and follow the Bible or the Quran? Like, why am I
Me,
always questioning? That's just me, man. I just question all the time, man. Because I felt something wasn't right. I just felt something wasn't right. You know,
yeah,
just on a
something
lot of
wasn't
levels,
right.
it just.
For me. So it happened at a young age. First of all, you wait, like you said, you wake up to those stuff when you're young. Most of all, me, it's Bob Marley. When I started to listen to him and starting to hear about the system and but I was a teenager back then and under massive programming, going to school and like you never. I don't know. It's just because we don't stop questioning. Just my advice to everybody: question everything. Don't stop questioning everything. And unlearn everything you have learned, and you're gonna live so much better.
Like,
So much
it's just
like
beautiful for
it's
me,
the
right?
way that
Like some people, they might just research a little, and it's not for them. But for me personally, I actually enjoy researching. It's my passion, and it's not negative. It doesn't have to be. Don't worry. Like my message is to people, like, don't worry about the fear. Like that's always going to be there, but you have to look
you know
past the
what it
fear. It's beautiful
you know
out
what
there
it gave
once you
me.
realize the truth about a lot of
Yeah,
things.
but what also, Ali, what it gave me a lot, that awakening and that fear conquering, like we're doing, conquering
Yeah.
our fears and all that. Death doesn't scare me so much anymore.
That's
Like,
beautiful. That's beautiful.
yeah, death doesn't
That's a
scare me
step
so much
forward, right?
anymore. Like because I know a part of the truth. I know a lot of I did a lot of research. I found out a lot of stuff, especially where I am. So I know now that there's probably more stuff. So I'm not, even if if I pass away, if I get out my body into another realm. I don't like to say dying because I don't think we die. I don't think we're
Yeah.
just here having a human experience. And after there's another journey, but you come back here if you haven't done your homework. So that's why I say you better do your homework and find out where you are, who you are, and are great, and be grateful for your life. Be
Yeah,
grateful
always be
for
grateful.
your
Always
life,
be
or you
grateful.
have another
That's
one.
true. Yeah, that's a big one right there.
Yeah, that's what I believe. I
You
believe
know,
we
because
all in.
I wake up sometimes just angry. Maybe it's a dream. And then I'm like, whoa, just look, just breathe, man. Just
Yeah,
look.
just breathe. Just appreciate life. Just live your life. Always live your life like it's your last day. Live like if it's your last day, because who knows what's gonna happen tomorrow, and who knows if you're gonna be here or whatever.
I
So
think it's
very
important to
important.
know that everyone is born free. Like a lot of things that people are stressed about is like things they can't control. Like what will someone think, or what's going to happen with the war in Iraq. That doesn't affect you. Well, if you give it
But
energy, it's going to affect you. But you
but
have to
what
you
did
have
you
to
tell me?
obviously.
Hold on. You told me something this week. You told me until people get hit with their money or something like that, they will not realize. You told me something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember what you
unfortunately, what
told me.
happens is people are living in this false illusion of security. But until something, for example, if you believe that if an earthquake, like what if an earthquake or something happened and you lose your house and your insurance doesn't cover you because you didn't have insurance, for example. Well, too bad, you're on the street now. And so something's going to click in your mind, or someone defrauded you for a lot of money, or if your spouse left you and you figured out she was just using you your whole life, 20 years, and she was always cheating on you. Those type of things are going to be like, whoa. And that's when your subconscious mind is ready for, you're looking for answers. Then you go to Jesus, you'll be seeking. The reason I was seeking was similar, because I felt like I was lacking something. I felt like, my life was just not going anywhere. I was in an illusion. I didn't like dressing up, going to birthday parties, going to, having this image and being around certain people. I was like, whoa, man, this is all acting. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I like those people. And when I went with those people, everyone's like, nah, you're not cool. So it started at an early age for me, where I was like, man, screw all you people, right? I'm just gonna do my own thing. And once I had that attitude, I met all types of people, and I started realizing that, you know what, we're all hating on each other, but it's all media. Because when you actually meet people from like Chinese people or Japanese people or whoever, right, you start realizing that, especially black people, like they have the biggest thing on them. And so I hang out with a lot of black people, and a lot of them will be honest with me. They'll be like, when we apply for a job, correct, we change our name so it doesn't sound like a black name. They've done that,
Yeah,
and
but
and and, and
it's
so
very.
it's just
I
out
was
there, right?
talking with when we talk about black and color of the skin and all that. Like now it's clear, it's sunny, so probably you see the color of my
Black is a
skin. But
wrong
as soon
word,
as
but it's
you know,
I'm
when
not
we
black.
turn
I'm
the
not black.
lights up, we don't see any colors. So, but this thing is to really. I don't see anybody else. I see everybody as a. I don't see no colors. I don't see
Yeah,
nothing that because I
I never
attach to
do.
the
I never
oneness.
do.
You
But
too,
on the
same thing.
census form, ask you to identify Caucasian,
I know
African.
what you mean, but
You used to have
I know
black
we're
on
on the
there.
same page. It's not what I
Yeah,
mean.
I know.
No, I know we're on the
It's
same page. It's not what I mean, but
yeah.
I want to explain you where, to me, why I don't see no colors is
I consider
oneness,
myself
one
black.
word,
I don't know. It's
one.
just I always
And
like that. The
but
underdog.
some people, that's another
Yeah.
thing, Eli. I'm gonna bring you onto something else. Hold on, because a lot of people are saying that the oneness, also the one, is promoting their one world government and all this stuff that we shouldn't be advertising that one love, one heart, one destiny. It's like one world government. That's what they want. So, what's your intake on the? What's your
Well, why do we need
point of view on that?
government? Right, brother. Government implies that we need a ruler. A government is a system of control, right? We need cooperation. See, a government is a bunch of people who claim that they have a right to rule over a bunch of people, the majority. That's what we see right now. A police officer puts on a uniform, steps out of his house, and he feels he has an authority to just pull over people. Well, his justification might be the law says this. But when you just think about it, you're a free man, I'm a free man. What authority do I have to come and just harass you? And so why do we need that type of system? What I'm proposing is that I recognize you as a king, and I'm a king of my. The key here is we need to own property. You see, right now the reason people are not free is because they don't own property. They believe they own property, and no one in Canada who uses the regular certifications is a citizen. Or no citizen. Let me put it this way: no citizen in the world owns any property.
You don't even
Or
own
well,
your car. You don't
not the
even
world.
own your car.
Most of the countries, right? There's a few countries where the system is not working, like Iran, for example. Well, I'm not
Yeah.
100% sure how their system works, but they don't. They're not the same as or North Korea, for example. They have their own system, but their legal system. But in North America, even in Mexico, in most of the Middle East countries, India, anywhere the British went, pretty much, they have the same. We call it the Babylonian system, right?
Yeah.
And
Babylonian,
we
you're
don't
going
own
down.
property. Yeah, we don't own property. So once we realize that we own property, then guess what? Then it's mutual cooperation that's necessary. Because if you come on my property, now you're under my jurisdiction. That's the way it works. The reason we're under the crown's jurisdiction is because they own all the land. That's the only way it works. The only way they can convince us that we need to be under their jurisdiction is because they lay claim to the land that you live on. And so the trust, like a mutual trust, you got a deed to your house, you were given that by the crown, by their permission. Anytime you go to the government to get any certification, you're begging. You're saying, please tell me this is who I am. Please tell me that I own this land. You're basically asking them,
That's
it's a
it. That's
mafia.
it.
It's a
And
mafia. And so once we start understanding that this whole thing is a house of cards, and flat earth is the greatest because once people, it's easy to number one prove that once, if you're seeking truth, you'll figure out the earth is flat. And then you'll realize that I can't trust anything these people say. Because think about it, if they're lying about that, what else are they lying about? And then all the other conspiracies just fall in place, and you're like, hold on, there's something going on here. There's why you start questioning everything that happens when you get arrested. You start questioning, well, whose law? What is this law? What's this? What's spell around it? And that's what we're uncovering in this movement. There's a lot of other flat earthers who are sharing this information with me, and that's how I got this information from. And so I thank the awakening. I thank the awakening.
Same thing as if a disease, if they tell you have a disease or something, you're going to start researching what is that disease and something. You're going to be interested in finding what is the truth about all that stuff. And same thing if you get arrested and they put you in jail, what? You're going to research or why they're accusing you. So you hire a lawyer for what? For fun? No.
A liar, exactly. You have to know that yourself, because the lawyers don't know themselves. They've been tricked into believing and following orders, just like everyone else. Look, these people are not that smart. It's just that they have degrees, so we assume they're intelligent. A lot of, you know what, they're good people, they're good spokespersons. If you look at all these guys, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's a good spokesperson. He will persuade you to believe his nonsense. That's all it is. He's good at convincing people to believe in nonsense. Like, he's really good at that. I know so many very intelligent people, millionaires, billionaires, who like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Wow. They love him. Like celebrities, there's so many celebrities that love him. They think he's a genius. But
I used to look at that stuff, Eddie, and not thinking too much. I
used to look up to him once too. I was amazed. I was mesmerized. I was like, man, he's the smartest person ever. Just before I got to know Flat Earth, every time I used to watch the show on Netflix, I'm like, planets and all this amazing stuff. I'm like, aliens. I'm like, God is wonderful. Look, this is what amazed me too. So a lot of people say Flat Earth makes me believe in God because of the Bible and closed system. I'm like, no, it worked the same way when it was a ball. It was infinite. Look how amazing God is. Look at all these planets. It's the same effect. But what happened with Flat Earth is it made me realize that, number one, they're lying. So what else they're lying about? And number two, that, you know what, my mind is powerful. It empowered me to say, man, this great oneness or whatever that created all of us, it didn't create us no dummies. We don't need to trust these experts. You know, it empowered me in a very powerful way, brother.
We have all the answers inside of us. All the answers are inside of us. It's nothing. We shouldn't look for external answers or things like that. It's all inside of us.
It's inside of us. I mean, we feel it. We feel everything.
We feel it. We know when something's wrong. We know when something's right. Like, you know, when something's
wrong. That's your intuition. Right. There you go. Without thinking, without even thinking, you know what? And that's, if we are living in the wild where we are interacting with actual real like stimulus, like ants and animals, and we're built to survive in the jungle, man. We're genius. You see those people in those jungles, they know how to make everything themselves. They know how to, if they get injured, they know how to treat themselves. And they live 50, 60, 70 years in the jungle. You know, they live longer than most people here live. And they're healthy. No. And they don't have any doctors. So just think about it. Whoever created us made the birds self-sufficient, the animals self-sufficient. Everything works in accordance, in the perfect harmony. And so we definitely know that something's wrong, because why do we see millions of people attacking millions of people when just two kings give the orders?
There's something wrong when you hear cost of living also. Cost of living, what is that? There's something wrong there. We're the only species paying to live on Earth. Hello, I don't see birds paying freaking tax or shit like that, and we're the most advanced species on the plane, and I don't know, we're charging each other taxes and shit like that. That's nonsense. Birds don't pay nothing. Birds fly freely. But, you know, we look at that and we're all impressed at the birds. Oh, I would like to fly like a bird. And you can fly like a bird. I don't mean they're in the air like tapping wings, but you can fly. You can fly high if you want. You're unlimited
Hey,
power.
that bird is probably
Can
wishing they could swim underwater, but you can swim
eh?
underwater.
You can swim underwater. You can move mountains if you decide to. You can
Yeah,
move people. You can influence a lot of people just with
just
your
one
voice.
face.
So
There's so many things.
to live their greatness, not to put them in distraction, like we said before, but to live their.
And the beautiful, the good thing is people are manifesting magnificence, beauty. Like for example, artists, performers. The only thing is they're still slaves to in a system that they're trying to get out of too. And so it's basically everyone has we've been put under a spell. Like we got to give credit to these powers that be. They were not stupid people. They managed to convince every one of us to play their system. We're playing their system. They're very intelligent people, man. These people are not.
Convince, yeah, but they don't even have to convince us. We're doing the job in between
Yeah,
ourselves.
we're programmed. We're just playing the loop.
We go into the army, we go into the police. We are being we. It's
Because
us,
they
the
pay you more
government, the
money. It's
people.
good money to be a police officer compared to being, well, a janitor or something
Yeah,
else.
but that's the illusion. That's the standing that they
Pay you a
give
little more
them
money.
to make them feel like they are part of something by giving them higher salaries than the average population. So they feel like, oh, I get a good salary. I get
Just
60,000,
think
seventy
about this.
thousand
Think
dollars a
about
year
this.
to be a cop, or
The
how much a
G20
cop
summit,
makes per year. I don't know.
the G20, the last G20 summit. I think the Toronto,
In Toronto,
they spent
in Toronto,
$2 billion for security.
yeah.
For
I know,
what?
but that was crazy, man. They were arresting people in the
Yeah,
street of Toronto for absolutely no reason. They could arrest you for no reason.
yeah.
It was the martial law. I think they put in the martial law on that perimeter of Block where they had that conference, the gangsters, the 20
They did a
gangsters.
false flag there too. There was undercover police officers who burned their own cars to
Yeah.
create a spectacle.
Yeah, people don't
Because
see that. People do not realize that, but there is
yeah,
provocative
yeah.
agents
Asian
man going in crowds and
provocateurs. We
starting
caught
shit.
them. We caught them. We have the evidence.
Yeah, a lot of people.
They
There's
have
a
to
guy
justify
also.
the spending. They gotta.
There's a guy in Toronto. He does video on YouTube also. What's his name? He's a lot after that stuff. I don't remember his name, but he's a lot. He's exposing a lot of stuff. He goes around with his camera, and he wasn't there at the G20 in Toronto,
Yeah,
filming all kinds of stuff, and he put it online. That's where I seen it. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And you know what I seen too? That how crazy it is. I'm sure it's gonna come here soon. The Montreal police will have that soon. They're crazy, these people, man. Here in Montreal, it's a bit fucked up. The police, that I have to say. But
they look peculiar. I've been there. It's little, I
yeah,
don't speak
Montreal
French,
is
so I got.
a bit rock and roll. Downtown Montreal, it's a bit rock and roll. The cops,
Yeah,
they're a bit psycho, a bit brainwashed. Anyway,
yeah.
because it's a bit rock and roll downtown Montreal, also certain
It is.
places, man, but most
Yeah.
of it, I mean, you have no. Like what you put in your mind is what you're gonna manifest in your reality. So if you have all kinds of negative thought and thinking that the world's gonna come and crumbling on you from any day, come on, you're gonna live a miserable life, never gonna be motivated. But yeah, the I was talking about the cops in Montreal and how I lost what I wanted to say. I don't remember.
Yeah, for me, brother, I've been locked up a few times, right? So
Oh no, okay,
it
I got
registers
it.
in my mind.
I got it. What I wanted to tell you. You know what I saw? They're in New York. They're putting people that protest in the street or something to restrain them. People they want to restrain people now. They put them in body bag. Yeah,
Yeah.
live body bag. They put people to restrain them instead of putting the handcuffs or something. They put them in body bag apparently, and they carry them in there live body bag. Imagine people don't say
Well,
nothing. Crazy, man.
hey,
Crazy. It's gone. It's gone wild.
use
It's gone
excessive
astray. The
force to
world
do
has gone
that.
astray. That's why it's important to come out, speak our mind, speak our truth, and try to put some light
Yeah.
into this dark world that I don't know. It seems to be there are dark forces at work. It's not a dark world, but there's dark forces at work, definitely. So by shining light, we're counteracting with them for sure. putting our plan into execution. So, my brother Eddie, it was a pleasure to have a chat with you tonight. It was a great, great conversation. It was great. It was like the good old times. We were just missing Ivar, but he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back. We'll do one, maybe me, you, and Ivar eventually.
Okay, okay, sounds good. Sounds good. And
We have a lot to say. Ivar has a lot to say. He always speaks for long hours with me on the phone. We have exchanged a lot on about 3, 4 times a week, easy. So good, and he wants to come back on the TRU-MON show for sure. So yeah, so that was a pleasure, Eddie. We're gonna stop that now, and
okay, brother.
can,
Bless up. Respect for calling me on, and
yeah, but it
I'll
was
see you on the boat.
important
Sure.
for me to touch back with you. But we touch back on the phone and stuff like that. But I mean, live
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the show
for
like
sure.
that, it's just bigger, higher vibration and really live
Yeah, we're
vibration.
always in
So there's people
communication,
that
so
can,
it's a blessing, you know. It's good to share vibes, and that's what it's all about. Just share your vibe, shine your light, and be
yeah,
happy, you know.
and
Just gotta
exact.
be
And the next
yeah.
TRU-MON show, you guys are gonna really really like it because the next TRU-MON show is gonna be it's always a great moment. The TRU-MON show with anybody that I interact on the show, I give thanks. It's a blessing. But Friday I'm gonna have Blackout Jay from Jamaica, but he's in
Okay.
Bristol, UK now. And the guy is really, really outspoken and really, he has a big Jamaican accent and all that. So it should be, anyway, I posted a video of him today. He was live in his radio show and you can see
Yeah.
how he is. And that's going to be a
Hey,
great, great interview because I was talking with him, Ali, for
yeah.
like 15, 20 minutes today on live offline hangout. And we had a great, great vibe. So I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful
The
interview. I
one yesterday
really,
was amazing too. Your show was great. I saw it. I was dancing
yeah,
at the
with
end too.
Justice.
I was waiting for him to start singing. And hey, man, that was amazing. He got
No,
so
no, no.
much energy.
Justice
You
was
know, he
great.
got so much energy. Like that's a
Yeah, but I
lively
don't know. I
soul.
just go out and ask them
That's
to come on the
beautiful.
show, and sometimes it's harder than others. There's some I have to beg more than others and write more emails than others and explain a little bit more because don't forget there's a big work behind everybody that comes on my show. It's not just okay, I'm gonna write them a message. You come on the TRU-MON show. No, come on. I have to really put out vibes, and that's what I'm doing. And, I think it's
That's
great,
great,
and
brother.
we're
That's great.
connecting.
Looking
It's
forward
great. It's
to
great
watching
vibes, and
them.
it's conscious. It's I like the fact that they're speaking truth and their truth, and who knows what's what and what. Nobody knows. So just rise and shine. Speak your truth. Speak your mind. Shine your light. So it was a very, very great moment, Mr. Eddie, tonight. Bless up, and we
Bless up,
talk
brother.
to each other again very,
It was
very
a
soon.
pleasure.
So that was Jenny, your host for the TRU-MON show with Mr. Eddie. Dohadwala from Toronto. Bless up. Peace out.